YouTube back at it. I was just telling Chris about, I was watching a YouTube video recently, and it was a guy from 2013. He was really giddy because Bitcoin went up to $100, and it just seemed like the biggest thing in the world. And it's funny, now we're in 2021 and Bitcoin's closing in on 60,000. And
crazy stuff.
Yeah, and like we were just talking about how well, what do you think?
Let's park right here. Let's chill right here for a second.
What do you think about all this?
Yeah.
As someone who was in it a long time ago, Chris actually got in 2016.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Around when Ethereum hit $300, I was in as early as Ether at $60, and I think I left around 300 just when it was getting up there. So I definitely made a little bit of money or broke even, but we were talking about what kind of advice people would like on a topic like this, where I don't even know if any of my advice would be even applicable, because I had up to 6 figures on a 5-figure investment and barely broke even. So if you told me right now, should I reinvest? When would I reinvest? I'd be really cautious, really conservative, because I had a lot, now I don't. But I don't know, Russell, like we're talking about having to use it, not hoarding it, helps, what do they call that? There's a word, adoption. But
yeah, that's a good point. We were just talking about how early on, people talk about how Bitcoin was worth this much and people were paying for pizza with it, and it was basically like a penny per coin or whatnot. And Chris made a really good point, if you want to say.
Yeah, like those people, everyone always thinks back on those YouTube videos where people pay 20 Bitcoins for a large pizza at Domino's. And everyone goes, oh my God, what an idiot. Like, he'd be a millionaire right now if he still had those. But what people fail to realize is, if he didn't buy pizza with Bitcoin, we might not have, what is it, you said 60? What's Bitcoin? It's
closing
right now?
in 60, it's like 57.
We wouldn't have $60,000 Bitcoin right now if people weren't buying pizza and pushing for that early adoption. I think I watched the video, and I think the way he did it was he would go to this shady website, give Bitcoin to the website, and the website would give him gift cards, and he paid via gift card for his food, which is insane. Now you have Bitcoin ATMs in different, some Southeast Asian countries, I know for a fact, have them. I don't know where else.
Oh, even California, like San Francisco, they had ATMs.
I've never seen it before.
And Dallas, they have ATMs at like smoke shops.
That shows how out of touch I am. Like when I got out, they were first happening very rarely, and now they're all over the place. So we were also talking about the practicality of Bitcoin around there. So not to jump around too much, but
it is funny. In the beginning, people were just giving it away. Basically, they didn't view it as anything, and now people are like hodling it. They don't want to spend it on anything. And Dallas, the Mavericks owner, Mark Cuban, he said, hey, if you use Bitcoin for any purchase, tickets or fanware or whatever, we'll give you a discount, but no one's using it because no one wants to spend the Bitcoin.
Why would they? Because Bitcoin jumps up, what? From when I had it to when now, it's like I don't even know how much. It's insane how much. It'd be stupid to spend it all the time, but that's also the issue is Bitcoin was never intended to be an investment. Bitcoin was intended to be a cash alternative for whoever, a peer-to-peer cash alternative, and it almost is counterintuitive to have it as an investment because you have all these people who want to hold it and not sell it. When in reality, and this is just my armchair advice or ideas, if everyone used Bitcoin all the time as a main source of currency, even though you might not be getting the investment out of it, Bitcoin overall would increase because adoption, because everyone's
Yeah.
using it, because this is defeating inflation. Me and Russ talked a little bit about like places such as Venezuela that are going through revolution and the government's devaluing currency or hyperinflation or whatever, and Bitcoin's a real tool these people can use to make sure that their livelihood is, I don't know, kept, I guess. But it's interesting.
It's also, I have an uncle who has a lot of money, and I told him to put a little bit into Bitcoin, and I showed him, you know, over the last 10 years how much it's increased. It's literally gone from maybe a penny to what it is today, 56, 57,000. And even with all that information, it's just the mentality is different, because he's just like, no, this sounds like a scam, or it seems too good to be true. And I understand his position, because he, you know, I'm sure he's been through enough to know if something seems that good, like that kind of return, there has to be something wrong with it.
It's actually really funny that you say that too, because when I first got into it, around $60, around whatever, I told my dad, and he said the exact same thing. I didn't let him tell me not to do it, but I was like, I'm gonna do this anyways. And he's like, if it's too good to be true, it probably is, etc., etc., etc. And I started making a ton of money on it, and his whole advice was probably the best advice, but coming from the person who told me not to invest at all, I couldn't believe it. He was saying, pull out now, and I was like, you didn't even want me to put money in here, and now you're saying to pull it out. Like, I shouldn't listen,
because if you had
in
listened,
hindsight, I wouldn't have even had any opportunity, but if I would have listened, I might have been out. But it's a separate topic. It's interesting seeing how, what would you call that? When people don't adapt to technology?
they're stuck in a different, like Warren
Era.
Buffett, even Warren Buffett today, and he's one of the smartest investors there is. He's like, no, Bitcoin is, he calls it rat poison, but it's just, I don't know. I think the younger generation, once they get established, then that's the reason Bitcoin's going to go up even more.
But we were talking about this too. Like, I don't think Bitcoin has an infinite ceiling, because the whole point of it is to be a stable currency. Bitcoin being volatile hurts its core purpose of being money. So maybe it pulls somewhere, I don't know, maybe it finds a equilibrium somewhere and pulls at 60,000 or something, and it stays.
You don't think it goes to 1 million?
I have no idea. I don't think it's healthy if it goes to 1 million, because then it reinforces the fact that people shouldn't be using it and people should be investing in it, which is too much of a conversation to have right now. It's just an interesting thought. It's weird. I don't know.
Well,
there's some coins like Tether that's a one-to-one crypto to USD. It might be gone by now. I have no idea. That was a long time ago. But they try to do Bitcoin to dollar equivalencies in the crypto world, which are needed, but even that was impossibly hard to do. I think it failed. I don't know off the top of my head, but I don't know.
yeah. I mean, it's an interesting topic. Hopefully, in 5-10 years, we'll look back at this video and we'll be like, oh wow, we could have had Bitcoin at whatever it's at today, and yeah,
100,000.
Yeah, and now it's, who knows what it's at that point. But yeah, anything else you want to close with?
This is not financial advice. Please do not invest anything off of our advice. Do your own research. We have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah,
I do at least. I have no idea. Raza knows a lot more than me.
no, I'm just watching YouTube videos and trying to learn like you did. So, okay.